There's the
Please
whole,
die.
well, that was the whole point of the I've been imbued with self-preservation instinct. I anticipated she was going to ask to kill me before I could try and defend myself. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Fate Zero. Once again, thank you to SevDQ for sponsoring these. We are... What episode are we on?
Episode 17.
That's weird. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the... I'm so used to... Is it Seed that does phases?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, this one has the I guess whoever transcribed it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, phase or orb, but whatever. All right.
Yeah.
First off the bat, though, we have a comment from Fenrir756 from the Patreon from the episode The Terminus of Honor. Edited to remove or call out notes I wouldn't consider spoilers, but Theta might. And you know what? If I consider them spoilers, they're spoilers. So, for your information, Fate Extra and Fate Extra CCC are PSP games that take place in the far future and possibly in a separate timeline from Fate Stay Night and Fate Grand Order. A gacha phone game with an anime covering part of the story and several anime movies covering separate parts. Takes place in a separate timeline from Fate Stay Night. Time for my... go ahead.
Yeah, that explains why the things I've seen a kid like wearing like some kind of uniform, and they're in like an academy. So that might be why it looks like they're in the future somewhere. So yeah.
Time for my Fate notes. I am a huge Type of Moon fan and have watched most of the shows and played most of the visual novels or absorbed their stories via other mediums. Here are my notes/points of clarification. A servant has to be willing to enter into a contract with a mage to become its master after it's lost its master, and a servant's contract with a master cannot be passed on or taken from that master unless the command seals are removed/taken from the master while the contract is in place.
So doing the thing that you suggested about the contract would not have worked because she still had the command seals.
No, it would have worked.
No, but let
me reread this part here. With a cannot be passed on or taken from that master unless the command seals are removed/taken. Kill them, like I said, and they lose the command seals because they're dead.
Yeah, but you don't gain them for yourself.
No, it doesn't matter. You have your own command seals because you're my thing that I mentioned before was for an existing master who has no servant to take on a servant from a different master. Yeah, so say, oh crap, what's his name? His dad died last episode. Kirai Kotomine. Who has no servant. Say if, who were the other two guys that died last time? Say if Kenneth and Sola had died, but Lancer had still been alive. Kotomine could have taken Lancer on as a servant if Lancer wanted.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I was talking about before. But I think what I was talking about more specifically was if, say, I don't remember. I don't remember the specific example I gave, but I think maybe I talked about a servant killing its master, and I don't think that would have happened. Because obviously you'd have a command spell to say, no, don't fucking kill me. So, yeah. But I don't think that negates what I had said as an idea before, because I don't think anything that I said breaks any of those rules. Because it all involved death. And dying, as we already know, negates the command spells because Sola had her arm cut off. And that's where the command spells are, and she lost those. Some of the prior comments about the root and true magic you responded to were incorrect/misleading. Ooh, Alex is going to have words with you. In Fate, anything that can be accomplished with magecraft can also be accomplished scientifically, but true magic is something science cannot replicate, and those who become magicians are considered adversaries of the planet because using true magic has the potential to drastically unbalance the natural world. There are only 5 true magics in existence. 1. The first magic is unknown, but is related to the generation of ether clumps. You know, those delicious treats. 2. The second magic's domain is the operation of parallel worlds. 3. The third magic arc achieves the materialization of the soul, which in effect stops a soul from disappearing once it no longer has an anchor to the world via body. 4. The fourth magic is unknown, and no details of what it deals with is known, only that it exists as a true magic. 5. The fifth magic is related to time travel, but not in the way you would normally expect. I can explain further in detail, as it's not a future spoiler, unless The Witch on the Holy Night anime movie comes out soon, and you think you might watch it. First note here, number 4 is bullshit, because number 5 should be number 4.
Well, no, I mean...
Okay, follow me here. You're making a list of things that you know, right? Well, number 4 is literally dash, because I don't know it, right? I know there's a number 4, I think, even though I know nothing about it, in that I don't even know that it exists. Well, in that case, number 5 should be number 4, because you know shit about number 5.
No. They do know it exists. They don't know what it is, though.
The fourth magic is unknown, and no details of what it deals with is known.
So it's speculated it exists.
It's unknown. So nobody knows it exists. It's unknown.
So then we should be 4 then, not 5.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That 4, it seems like a supposition. Like, there might be a fourth one. In which case, number 5 should be number 4, because we know it. We know it exists.
Yeah.
So number 4 should be number 5, and it should be a true magic that's thought to exist.
Yeah. And the fifth one, that is speculative only.
Right, like I say, the order should be order of what's known. Ether clumps. The only way to become a user of true magic is to reach the swirl of the root, which is also known as the Akashic record. Sorry, there's more thought there, but I go back real quick. Unless Witch on the Holy Night anime movie comes out soon and you guys might watch it, that depends on Sevtaq, the sponsor.
Yeah.
Forgot to cover that. The only way to become a user of true magic is to reach the swirl of the root, which is also known as the Akashic record. The root is a metaphorical location where the information of everything in existence is stored, and everything's existence is dependent on that information being stored there. The ultimate goal of all mages is to reach the root, not necessarily to become a true magic user, but to obtain access to the truth of the universe. Whenever a route to the root is used, that route is then closed off to everyone else, and because in the age of gods, true magic was more readily used and accessible, many routes to the root were closed off before mages understood what they were doing, making reaching the root in the modern day far more difficult.
Is it the root as in path, or is it the root as in, root of the tree?
R-O-O-T, root.
Oh, okay. So the routes to the roots are closed.
Or they're being closed. Assumingly, this is describing a situation which is a limited number of paths to the root. And in a far away time, a lot of people used all those paths, and now it's a much rarer thing in the modern day to be able to get to the root.
Well, I guess if it's a conceptual place, then it's about discovering.
Sorry, I think I misread something. Did I say metaphorical?
Yeah.
Metaphysical.
Oh, metaphysical. Yeah, because it's a metaphorical place. which can also be metaphysical, then it's a matter of constructing a route rather than
Well, I mean, if it
discovering
was
it.
a metaphorical place, it would be a matter of like deep meditation. I probably.
I mean, conceptualizing actually just be a way of conceptualizing the route itself so that the route can be accessible. That's a meta part of the metaphysical.
Okay.
It's
You don't have to explain it to me. I just don't want to talk about it.
okay. Because
No, it's just
I
I
should have.
understand what you're saying. That's why I was going into the meditation thing. Sorry. Also, in my head, I'm thinking of have you ever read Incarnations of Immortality? Oh, one of them is about. They're all like incarnations of what? One is death, one is war, one is time, one is nature, fate. Actually, the devil and God are both incarnations as well. And one of the aspects of fate, because they're shown in like the Greek format with like three women, young, middle-aged, old.
Yeah.
One that spins the thread of fate actually has to go into the ether
Mhm.
and basically spins the thread of fate from chaos, the chaos that is the ether before creation. And there's a limited amount of ether, and that's basically what heaven and hell are fighting over, because
Mm.
they spin the thread of fate, and the thread of that ether becomes souls. And the souls are then fighting for the number of souls either side's going to have by the end of the universe. But they have to go on a path to the ether, which is very complex and it gets in your way and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just
Mhm.
thinking about that, like that metaphorical, metaphysical
Mhm.
forest that they have to go through in order to reach the chaos
Mhm.
of the ether. And it's reminding me of that, but also probably because of the using the word root, ROOT, and it's
Mhm.
literally a forest to get
Mhm.
lost in Incarnations of Immortality.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right.
Yep.
Matao Zokin and the other Mataos are not actually vampires. Vampires in the Type Moon universe are dealt with more specifically in Tsukahime and have very specific characteristics and rules associated with them. It would be hilarious if you actually watched a Tsukahime anime as a series, because it is viewed by the Tsukahime community as being so awful in terms of being an adaptation, and as an anime, that it resulted in the creation of the "there is no Tsukahime" anime meme.
Oh.
That's the word, in case I'm saying it wrong.
Sugihime. Yeah.
Gilgamesh's noble phantasm, Gate of Babylon, does grant access to his treasury, but within that treasury are the prototypes of almost every other noble phantasm in existence. So he, in effect, has countless noble phantasms, and he can choose to use their special abilities if he wants, instead of just shooting them.
Okay.
He's a cheater, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Also,
No.
shouldn't, well, Gilgamesh, that assumes that Gilgamesh is the first of all servants, right? Because otherwise, why would he have the prototypes of people that came before him,
Or
or ones that don't have prototypes for that matter?
I mean, it's a prototype implies that they're the first. So
Well, I'm
in
saying
fact,
like if
implies
you,
that he's the last, not the first.
well, no, because if you need to be there from the beginning to get the prototypes of the people that came after you, assuming that they had a prototype, got rid of the prototype, and then had the finished product. Because also that doesn't make sense to me, because it feels like an ability that you what's the word I'm looking for here? Always with me with this. I can't never figure out the word. Not generate. You nurture. You build up over time.
Mm.
Why would you have an ability that you got rid of and then perfected? Right? Shouldn't the trail from first development to perfection be the same thing?
No, actually, you would get rid of stuff that doesn't work for you, doesn't fit
Right, but these
fit the
are
final product.
abilities, right? We're not talking about like I made
Yeah.
a gun and then I got rid of these features that didn't. You know, this is like, oh, Goku's working on the Kamehameha, but it used to be the Kamehameha, and he got rid of a couple of letters because he didn't need the charge up time, or whatever. Like
Mhm.
that's an ability. He's just using an ability. Well, I guess maybe. Sorry, I'm now thinking to myself. Lancer's noble phantasms were objects.
Mhm.
Excalibur is an object. Well, because again, the the Gate of Babylon, right?
Yeah.
Is that noble phantasm? Is that the stuff in there, or is the gate the noble phantasm? Which is to say, the ability to reach into an otherworldly space and store stuff and pull stuff out.
And why wouldn't he just pull the prototype and have the prototype fight?
Well, see, I'm not talking
The
about that though. I'm talking about what is a noble phantasm in the aspect of having a prototype. Like Alexander's pearl thing, the area where he keeps all of his soldiers, right? The
yeah.
soldiers aren't his phantasm. They're the people that just agreed to be with him. The space, which when he keeps them, I would assume to be his noble phantasm. So there could be no prototype there because he just creates the space. Because the space itself feels like the same thing as the Gate of Babylon, just an otherworldly space to keep stuff.
Yeah.
So unlike the others, well, could he prototype 2 bowls in a cart? Like what? What are we working with here when we talk about prototypes?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would. When you're saying he'd have to be the last, no, because then somebody else would have the prototypes.
No, it had to be the last because these prototypes have to exist for him to acquire them.
That's what I'm saying. You have to be the first. You'd be there when the prototypes are developed to take them. The last, somebody else would have already taken them.
If they have the ability to do so.
Unless you're saying he's the last and like you're thinking like a post-apocalypse situation where he's the last one left, he took everything, then circled back around to fight everyone again.
I mean,
because he doesn't
in
show
a
up with
way,
anything from the future.
he would be a post-apocalyptic phantasm in the sense that if he has already collected all the weapons that they are,
Well, servant.
unless servant, there would be anything left.
Well, no,
and then he is literally the alpha and the omega. He exists, collects everything because it's available to him. Therefore, he's close to circle.
Well, he claims everything is his. No,
So maybe
what I'm saying though is that he can't be the last because he doesn't show up with anything from the future. Like, I mean, the problem here is that we don't know what the concept of servants are. Like, here's my servant, George W. Bush. Like, what is a servant, really?
I mean, I think they're concepts, really. They themselves are concepts, right?
Yeah, but they're concepts of people.
I mean, the people are personifications of concepts.
I am assuming you've read American Gods. That's pretty popular. Yeah. The concepts of the gods are the gods themselves.
Yeah.
The people took their beliefs with them, and those beliefs formed wholesale those gods. That's why
it's a personification of an idea.
Yeah, that's why in the books there's an Odin in Europe. There's also an Odin in America because it's the one they brought with them. Or there's tons of Jesuses because everyone has their own personal Jesus. But
which is a great song, by the way.
Marilyn Manson?
No.
I know Marilyn Manson's one of his songs has literally the lyric, "Your own personal Jesus."
Yeah, that's a remake.
No, well, yeah.
That's not.
Anyway, my point being is that I guess we both could be right, but yours I find to be more difficult because if you were the last, you'd have to have taken it from everybody. Whereas I feel like if you were the first, you would just be picking up everything. You would be there. You'd be there when it was made first, and then you would just take it. Versus the last.
But you have to take it from whoever made it.
Yeah, of course. Well, if you think you're like you own everything, right? He thinks he's better than everyone. Why wouldn't he just take it from the person who made it?
It doesn't matter when he takes it, as long as he takes it.
Well, I mean, apparently it does, because that's what we're arguing about is when he takes it. I think that's the
No, but
only defining
you're
factor
saying
of being last or first.
you're saying it's a problem because someone else will have it. But I would say that if he goes first, and unless he's the one who discovers it and creates it, someone else already would have it because somebody has to make the prototype.
I'm saying that if you were there when the prototype is being made, it would be easier to take it than somebody who has already perfected it and then taking that from them.
I mean, the perfection would be the existing servant.
Right, but they're saying, no, it's not servant. We're talking about noble phantasms. You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you keep using them interchangeably, and they're not the same thing. The noble phantasm is their ability that we're talking about, or their object. It's hard to tell what's being used here, because, again, some noble phantasms are abilities, some are objects. What I'm saying is that if you were there when it's being first made, maybe that's how you get it, right? Maybe that's why there's a finished product. This asshole stole all the prototypes when they were being made. That's how he has all the prototypes. Versus, here's another argument I have against your he came last. If he came last, he would just have the perfected copies and not the prototypes.
Unless he can't, because he has to take them from the servants.
But then how does he get the prototypes of the servants?
Of the phantasm. I mean, I think prototype is a weird word. I think what he acquires is the concept therein, right?
Well, no, because he takes objects. He takes physical things. He says all the stuff in the world belongs to me.
Yeah, but does it really? I mean...
Well, I mean, that's his claim.
Let's put it this way. Let's his claim. Okay, let's say that he says, I own this bank because it's physically in the world. And he pulls it off. Does the bank disappear and appear in his vault, or is there a copy of it?
Oh yeah, no, right? I would assume that was exactly what would happen, because there was there's the one episode I really wish you had seen. Maybe I wish you would go back and watch it, because it's just really good. It's like one of the best episodes of anime, where it's literally just Gilgamesh, Saber, and Alexander talking about what it means to be a king. It's literally just a sit down conversation episode. But Alexander brings this like giant keg of wine, I think it is. Just
weird, probably.
Well, no, I think it's supposed to be wine, because Gilgamesh shows up and I think Gilgamesh says it's wine, but it's horrible, and he pulls out like some of the best wine ever from his vault. Okay. So he just does take objects. It's like not everything's a weapon or a phantasm or anything. He just has the best of everything in his vault. So when you're saying, does he take the concept of the bank or the bank? I think, no, I think if he took the bank, he would fucking come out with the bank.
So he's a thief, basically, and nobody...
Or a conqueror. It depends on how you look at it. Remember, it's the whole definition of what...
if he has the actual thing that is the best, that means that we're left... Everything that we have here is the second best, because he has it.
Except for the fact he only has the prototypes and not the actual finished products.
So he doesn't have the best.
I'm talking about noble phantasms. Once again, only talking about the noble phantasms when I talk about the prototypes. He has the best of everything else that he would ever want. And that's why he doesn't deign to touch lesser shit, because he thinks it's beneath him. But when it comes to noble phantasms, he only has the prototypes. According to this...
If he has the best wine, that means that he took it from whoever made it, right? Which means none of the things, and he has infinite access to all the best things, none of the things in our reality are the best, or could be the best, because he already has them.
Well, that's why my argument against him being from the future would be, is that if your point of view is from the future, then he's already taken all the best stuff. But then again, he should be showing up with future shit. The best future shit. And your argument is he's from the future, so he's already taken all the best stuff. Well, counterpoint there is we would never know what the best thing is, though, because he's already gotten it. So for us, the best thing to him would be the second best thing. We would never know. To us, the second best thing would be the best thing. But my point is that he seems to exist in continuity with us.
You know what? I think we need to... This is something that maybe at some point this show might...
hold on. Since he cut me off halfway, I was nearing my actual point there,
okay.
which was to say that if he exists congruently with us in the time span going forwards, then the best of the stuff that he takes would be from the past, which would, 1,000-year-old wines and whatnot. And that's why it would be prototypes of the stuff that was being made, in that he would take the best of everything, except for from the servants he hasn't defeated yet.
Mm-hmm.
So the best that he could get would be prototypes
of phantasms only.
Well, assume that you are the best fighter or something like that, right? And you've got sorry, I've had a guy's name in my head. What's Charlemagne's sword? Is that Durandal?
No, Durandal is sword. Roland's sword. Charlemagne has a sword as well.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember the name. Anyway, say you have Charlemagne's sword, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you're Charlemagne, and Gilgamesh can't defeat you, or you're not actively a servant yet, or whatever, right? Maybe you're real Charlemagne, not Charlemagne the servant. All Gilgamesh can get is the prototype of your sword, assuming one existed. That is the best he can get, and since he wants the best of everything, he can only hold out until he gets maybe Gilgamesh can't own actual phantasms. Maybe prototypes are all he can get, because maybe there's a rule. I'm making stuff up now, but maybe there's a rule that you can only have the phantasms that you have.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. His name is, the sword is I have to remember, Joyous, meaning joyous or joyful.
Okay, well, that's not one that I had in my mind at all. So clearly, I never knew Charlemagne's sword.
Yeah, but it's part of the matter of France. Charlemagne has a sword. Roland has Durandal, and Ogre, the ogre, has Cortana. For those wondering where that name comes from, by the way.
Right. All right. Well, as you said, moving on from the Gilgamesh one. Servants can only be hurt by other servants, magecraft or mana-infused objects / items that incorporate magical energy. So they are impervious to some kinds of harm.
So they just simply can't be shot.
Well, unless they're mana-infused objects or items.
Like magic bullets.
Which exist.
Yeah. Now I have a question about mana. Mana is given by the master, correct?
Yeah.
So is there a limited amount of mana overall? Or is it just a matter of... No, per person. Like, I have like 100 mana, right? And if I give you 30 mana, then...
Hasn't been addressed in the show, so...
Yeah. Or is it something that gets renewals? Like, I give you mana, but then I get exhausted, but if I rest or something, or time passes...
To put this into game terms, you're talking like Fallout gauge when it comes to mana. And currently, what we've dealt with in the show so far has been like the Mario, which is you're big or you're small, or you're dead, which is to say, oh god, Candid, who was just about out of mana completely when his mana circuits got destroyed, versus Sora, who was keeping the mana of Lancer up with her reserves of mana.
Yeah.
Versus Ryunosuke, who died and had no mana to give Castor, and then we covered how long Castor could survive in the world without someone giving him mana.
But he was feeding from Cthulhu, I guess. He was still going.
I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure about that because it's about 2 months ago. But I know the element was that Cthulhu could have kept feeding on its own and kept itself in the world. I don't know if Castor would have.
But Castor had become part of it, or was it?
So. I don't know. I thought he was piloting it. I had no idea what the fuck's going on anymore.
Yeah.
Castor's gone.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of that internet historian joke where they talk about the man in the cave. He's dead now. It was 100 years. Let's call it even.
Yeah.
Arturia was always female, but presented herself as male with very few people knowing she was a woman, including Guinevere, Merlin, Morgan, and maybe Lancelot, and one or two other knights of the Round Table. Fun fact, Merlin used magic to temporarily give her a penis, and Morgan Le Fay managed to obtain some of Arturia's semen and used that to create Mordred. And this is also why Merlin's nickname in Type of Moon circles is Dick Wizard.
Okay. Sure.
I think my argument here is that Arturia was always female in this. I'm pretty sure Arturia wasn't always female in the mythos.
It was Arthur.
Yeah. I'm not like trying to claim him back or something. I'm just like, you're giving a definitive, and it's like, I think when we're talking about it, we're talking about real world mythos versus the mythos of the show. So when we say, oh, in this version, Arturia is a woman, we're not talking about this version of Arturia. And you're saying, I assume that's what you're saying, not you, commenter, Arturia is always a female. Granted, yes, but we're talking about real mythos versus fake mythos. I don't know, it's weird to try and differentiate mythos because all mythos are, by definition, myths. You know, unless he comes back.
Yeah.
You know, on the promised day where Jesus and King Arthur get into a sword fight.
Yeah. That would be interesting.
No, that's actually what's happening. See, it's like that Star Trek TOS episode with the antimatter universes where they're stuck in the middle, fighting one another for all time. King Arthur and Jesus are both trying to come back, but only one can. He's like, I represent all people. And he's like, oh, I'm king of the Britons. Somebody write that. That's good. Put that to paper.
That's one hell of a biblical fanfic right there.
Oh, it had to be biblical, huh? Couldn't be British.
Oh, Celtic, to be precise, but still, moving on.
Gilgamesh does remember his entire life, but his mindset is of his life before he met Enkidu. So while he remembers Enkidu, his personality is that of when he was the tyrant ruling of Uruk. Fate Grand Order, spoiler for both. Not reading that.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. I didn't even read it. I got to the point where it's a spoiler for both a phone game and a specific anime series. The moment you said anime series, not reading the rest of it, because we might get there.
Eventually.
I'll read the first part of this, which will tell me why I'm not reading the second part of it. Theta, you may consider this a spoiler, but this doesn't impact Fate Zero or Fate Stay Night, but a separate series that occur after Fate Zero. And there is an anime of it. That's it.
That's all.
That's all I need to read. Yeah. This is
but it does answer. It does answer the question that why this particular Gilgamesh is the way it is, because even though he might remember the story, like all the servants remember the whole story, his version is the one that, you know, was the sort of demigod tyrant of the city of Uruk. So he was like, I'm entitled. Literally, the story is that he was entitled to all the women in the city. And that was why Enkidu was created, to sort of distract them / defeat him, right? Which he didn't defeat him, but, he created a close bond with him. And when Enkidu eventually dies, Gilgamesh is, well, I think the one thing Gilgamesh doesn't have is true immortality, because he goes in the search for immortality.
I mean, Sora does.
Yeah.
I mean, in that servants don't really die; they just lose and come back. Like Lancer's threat is still kind of a threat, because another Holy Grail war. Sorry, another Holy Grail. Another Holy Grail war. He could get summoned back.
But yeah, that's the thing about the story of the pieces that we have, because we don't have the entire story of Gilgamesh, which also includes, by the way, the first mentioning of a global flood, and a man's escaping.
I mean, there's plenty of the Bible steals stuff all the time.
Yeah,
The
And so he
person
comes,
dying and coming back a couple days later, or whatever, that's also in other mythos too.
yeah, and he comes back to Uruk and rules as a just king, accepting his death because he's only a demigod and not a full god. Therefore, he can't die. Actually, gods can actually die, but I don't know if it's in Neo-Babylonian Babylonian mythos where they have to consume something like say apples or ambrosia or something to keep themselves alive.
So it
Or they
sounds like
just
Journey to the West.
yeah,
One of the many different ways that
Sun Wukong.
yeah, attains his many different forms of immortality.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I mean, it's basically what I said was right, though, is that he knows his entire past.
but
So the
doesn't
argument
have
that we had before, because you were saying, well, if he comes from a certain point of time, he'd have to be this way or that way. And I was like, I think he knows everything, because that was what was told to us about servants.
But he either chooses or just is an impression of that earlier version of himself.
I think that's what they were saying.
Also-
He's an impression
Yeah.
of that earlier version. This is the Fourth Holy Grail War, which I don't know. I guess we must have said something because that was already told to us. We know this is the Fourth Holy Grail. I mean, it goes along with the next one. Kiritsugu triggered a fire alarm to get the rest of the building to evacuate before he blew it up to try and kill Lord El Moloi and Sola Oi, the two people that died last episode. And the previous thing I said, he was a terrorist and he tried to blow up a building to kill those two. Because, everybody evacuates a building when you pull a fire alarm, right? Is that always true? That everybody always evacuates?
Except your targets, apparently.
Or sleeping people who are able to sleep through a fire alarm, or, how long you gave everyone to evacuate before you blew up the... I'm just saying. I'm being hyperbolic here, and I didn't give you all the information when I said he blew up a building, but it was a pretty giant-ass building.
Yeah, he still blew up a building.
Theta, you may consider this point a spoiler, so feel free to ignore this if feel it is too spoilery, even though the point of the next sentence is to encourage guesswork discussion by re-examining the show's timeline up to this point. Who is Irisville again?
Your mortal enemy? No.
Irisville. No, that's Captain Hammer. You're making me do more work by adding gifts to the thing. Irisville. Oh, the homunculi. The homunculi woman, the one who's going to die, or is dead, or will have died, or has died and will die again. The once and future dead.
Yes. Non-human.
All right, I guess I've already read their name. There is a very specific reason why Irisville's condition is deteriorating that you may be able to somewhat figure out / guess yourselves if you take a very close look at the timeline of events and how her condition has changed over time.
That the spell is breaking down? He's not powering enough mana into it? What?
I mean, that would be my guess, is that he's running out of mana and she needs the mana to survive. A very early guess of what I thought was going on in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Did you watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood?
A little bit of it, yeah.
I haven't finished yet, and I'm still catching up to where Griffin left the show. So, Red Griffin, I mean the former co-host Griffin, not a character in the show named Griffin, because sometimes that happens. Yeah, so I'm catching back up to episode 50, and there was the early guess. Yeah, I know, I've got I'm almost at 50. I'm at 47, 48 now. But I had to restart the whole show. Anyway, and there's 13 episodes after that, plus specials and bloopers and whatnot. But the early thought was when Al was blacking out, was that must have been the times that Ed was unconscious or dying or something like that, because maybe he was giving power to keep Al going.
Yeah.
But then there's cases where Al's blacking out and Ed's fine. So I don't know. But maybe that's my thought process here. It's the same thing going on with them. Assuming she is a homunculi. I think she said she was. So, yeah.
It also explains why he chooses to use extra magical ability, not extra magical, outside, mundane abilities like shoot this guy with a sniper rifle,
You made it sound like a real ass there for a second. That's why he's using
Yeah.
extra magic abilities to kill her faster.
Like, have a sniper rifle ready or
Yeah,
blow up a
what you mean is
building.
like mana infused abilities or
Non-mana infusing abilities. Like, oh, I'm going to kill this person. I'm going to have somebody shoot him with a sniper rifle or blow up a building. Like, I could use my magic, but I have a limit. If I'm using it to power my construct of my former wife, then
well, really, the only magic I remember him using is the one that allows him to like deteriorate his own body to like super speed and whatnot. Because it eats up his own body faster, that sort of thing.
yeah.
Because other than that, yeah, closest thing has been like because he's the mage killer, so he had like a bullet made of his own bones, which is what destroyed Kingdom's magic circuits when he hit him with it.
Mhm.
Fate Zero is technically a prequel to the original Fate Stay Night anime, which we know. It's except you. I mean, I think we said this in the first episode. Anyway, which primarily follows the Fate route of the visual novel, but also incorporates some elements of the Unlimited Blade Works and Heaven's Feel routes, in which I believe damages the story. The Unlimited Blade Works anime, which was made by the same studio after Fate Zero, and only tells the story of the Unlimited Blade Works route, and the Heaven's Feel movie trilogy, which is a very compressed adaptation of the Heaven's Feel route, but does a very good job with what it works with. But familiarity with the visual novel helps tremendously. The three routes are essentially separate timelines that tell the story of the Fifth Holy Grail War, with a different female character taking prominence in each and are independent of each other.
Yeah, typical visual novel stuff. Like you want a favorite waifu so you can have the story with her and not affect the other timelines.
Also, if you decide to continue watching the sequel series / movies, you should maybe consider this point. The original visual novel story was designed so that the Fate route is done first, then Unlimited Blade Works, and then Heaven's Feel. And there are questions / story elements that arise in a previous route that are answered / addressed in a future route, i.e. something that is foreshadowed / hinted at in the Fate route will be addressed in the Unlimited Blade Works or Heaven's Feel route. I haven't watched the original Fate Stay Night anime in a long time, but I believe that some plot points for Unlimited Blade Works and Heaven's Feel are somewhat spoiled by it, and I remember one specific one that significantly spoils Heaven's Feel. So if you continue, you may want to do the Fate Stay Night anime last to avoid spoilers for the others. That's not up to us.
I mean, the visual novel stuff. I don't think we're doing visual novels in the channel. So
Though I think they're talking about the animes in the movie trilogy. Yeah, that is, we're sponsored when it comes to this. Well, not sponsored. Well, we are technically by definition of the word. We're not like, go play, whatever. I don't even know what to throw there.
League of Fates Zero.
Yeah. Sponsored by, yeah, we're not like that. I just mean, SevDQ is sponsoring this watch series, and they tell us what to watch and when. And right now, we're on the path of finish Fate Zero. And then, if we finish that and they want to sponsor us for more, we go on to whatever they tell us to do next. We are their servant in this matter.
Yeah.
Fun fact, Kirai's voice actor is the same as Commander Jin Kunagi from Ra-Zefon. Don't know if you watched Ra-Zefon.
Nope.
Oh,
haven't watched it.
I'm nearish the end. Pretty sure I just watched that guy die. It's the same guy I'm thinking of, which I will quickly just double check. It might actually be a different guy. You know what? I might still be right. Not exactly who I thought, but he might have just died fighting the guy who I thought he was. Who also, by the way, died. So I took a shot, I missed, but was still right. All right. Well, we also have the board.
Yeah. So Kadeth and Solar are dead,
As is Lancer.
as is Lancer. Uh, Darmond, Dadwin,
Leaves us with 4 servants at the moment. And since the
and
comments keep telling us
mhm,
Kirai can't just get a new summon,
mhm,
an existing summon of the war would have to switch sides to him, because otherwise he has
mhm,
nothing.
yeah,
Also, dude just killed his dad, but his dude who
listen,
killed his
yeah,
dad is also dead, so
yeah.
not much you can do about that.
Mhm. I wonder if Kit, Kichirugu gets what he wants, and that's why we have like different timelines and all that. Because he's talking about building a better world, so that's his dream. So, and he's willing to commit pretty heinous acts in order to keep, do it.
What's his plan? I'm not getting what you're throwing down.
When he's talking up to Arthuria's like, "Oh, why are you doing this? You're doing this to create. I'm doing it to create a better world."
No, you
So if
said,
he
I wonder if that's his plan. What do you mean? What's his plan?
plans to use the wish not to become a stronger mage or anything like that, or find the root or what have you, but to change reality so that the whole world becomes a better place,
I
right?
see what happened here. You went off on a tangent and then didn't tell me about it.
Well, yeah, but
I
I
was
was
talking
connected.
about Kirai and the fact his dad was dead and there's nothing you can do
Yeah,
about it. And you said, I wonder if that's his plan. And you're like, it's like,
yeah. I'll talk
oh,
about. I did mention Kitsuruga.
yeah, you did. But
Kitsuruga.
it's like, well, yeah, because he killed Kaneth and Kaneth killed that guy's dad. It's like, what, his dad being dead is part of the plan. What plan? And you're like, to wish for a better world. What are we talking about? I'm confused. It's like every time that I jump topics and you're still a topic behind because I haven't suggested out loud that I'm talking about something else. You're doing it to me now.
Oh,
I mean, I have no fucking idea what he's planning.
yeah.
I just know he's the most hardcore about it so far. He's killed, well, technically, I considered Kenneth to be dead the moment he shot him with the magic bullet thing.
Mhm.
Because he destroyed his magic circuits and Kenneth was, I mean, he was a teacher at the magical academy. It's like
Mm.
being a magic person was almost as important to him as
Mhm.
to Tokumi.
Well, not anymore. And he's lost his wife twice. I think he lost his wife twice. First because she fell in love with his servant, and then when she actually got killed.
But to be fair, he hadn't lost anything.
What do you mean he didn't lose anything?
So he was dead. The dead
Yeah,
don't
but
lose anything. The dead are dead.
no, she got killed first. So he
Technically,
lost
I
her,
think
and
they
then
kind of got killed at the same time. It's
no,
like a
she got
hail of
shot,
bullets.
and then he's like, "Kill me, kill me, kill me." It's like, nope, and then he dies.
Eh. I
So
mean,
yeah, he
negligible.
lost her, and then he died.
I mean, negligible in my opinion. The couple of seconds that you're begging for death between actually dying, in the long run, right? Does it matter?
Yeah, he's a man in a cave, and he's dead, and
Well, I don't even mean that. I mean, obviously, you can look at the long run and say, hey, does any of our lives matter? Because in the end, we're all going to be dead. But I mean, in the
mhm.
short term versus long run, the couple, there's a minute of begging for death make any difference in the infinity that you're going to be dead?
Well, for him, it was his life, and therefore that was his last second, and he wanted to be with his wife,
I would
and he
say even
lost her.
more
And
so if you're begging for death, because then you're
yeah,
at that point, you might as well already be dead, especially when
well,
you're surrounded by the people who are willing to do that for you.
I think he was begging for death because he lost his wife a second time around.
One could argue he was already dead at that point.
No, he was still talking.
Yeah, physically he was alive. Mentally and emotionally, he was dead.
Well, unless this game has mental zombies, I don't think that. Well, this anime, I don't think that applies.
I think it does. I mean, because you're not getting into a fight with all the people in the coma ward, are you? They're physically alive, but I mean, kind of dead.
Well, I mean, if they were attacked, if they were truly dead, they wouldn't be in the coma.
I want to
ward,
watch
would they?
now the game that you're going to make where you have to become the world's greatest fighter, but you have to start with the easiest people and work your way up. So are you going to start in the coma ward or the nursery? Which one is your going to start point of your video game?
How do you start? I mean, that's not even a fight. I mean, what the? Unless I'm a
You
vampire.
start with the easiest, work your way up, right? Every kill is experience, right? So do you start in the nursery or the coma ward? Which is your preferred first victim?
How much experience do I get from somebody who can't fight back?
Maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, no, that would.
You gotta start somewhere, because the moment they start fighting back, you're gonna want that experience to get abilities.
I would have to kill a lot of babies in order to get.
So you're starting with the nursery rather than the coma ward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Putting them out of the misery of life.
No, that's what I would see. I would argue the coma ward, right? Because those people, I would assume, mostly have been in accidents and whatnot, meaning they've had life experience already. Versus you're taking away the experience of life from people who haven't experienced it yet.
They have nothing to lose then.
Just want everybody to have the mental image now of the ways in which Lessons is going wild in the nursery.
You brought this up. You put a picture of either killing.
I want to tell you this, Lessons. I want to tell you this, Lessons. I gave you the opportunity here to go to the coma ward, and yet knowing that I was going to bring up all the dead children, you still decided to go to the nursery to kill more children. You brought this on yourself, Lessons. You've become not a detective, but an actual murderer now. You not only didn't solve the dead kids' crime, you went to the nursery and started doing more.
This is a completely different game altogether. Because now I'm a fighter who's trying to get experience in order to do what exactly?
Oh.
I'm getting experience with people who can't give me any because they don't have any.
Well, maybe now we need
the kids wouldn't count because the kids don't have experience to give.
So now you're just doing it for no reason.
No, I would to go to the coma ward.
I need this now to be like a multiversal thing where Detective You, who hasn't solved the dead kids murder, has to now fight Fighter You, responsible for dead kids murder. Maybe you're both. Maybe you're the killer of the kids and the detective trying to solve the mystery.
Didn't we do that already in an anime? Yes.
I don't think so.
Pluto.
No.
He did kind of solve his own. Well, he got revealed that he was the perpetrator of the murder that he got erased from his memory, which he couldn't solve.
Yeah, but he's not the one who solved it.
No.
Yeah, so
but he was both. He was the murderer and the detective.
Oh, I think he was murderer and victim, not murderer and detective. Unless you're talking about somebody else. I'm talking about Flowers guy.
In Pluto?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the detective.
The detective wasn't a murder. Well, I guess technically, the guy who killed his kid. Mm-hmm. I was talking about the overall thing. The Flowers guy who goes to be head put into the Pluto thing, or not Pluto, the other one, the giant.
No,
thing.
it is.
No, Pluto and the giant thing are two different things.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Flowers guy got put into the giant thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, who then kills a bunch, and then
the Flower guy was Pluto. There was somebody else though that there was a bigger bad.
Anyway, the whole
two bigger bads.
You knew the whole running joke about you and kids, and you decided to go to the nursery to kill more kids. I just thought that was funny. Now we know it's in your head.
Yeah.
Anyway. Let's go ahead and hop on into it.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
At the church.
He's got to find his dad.
I guess
After
these
he
priests are
just
not-
saved the other guy.
Yeah. I guess the priests are not celibate in this world.
I mean, is there much point if he was blind?
I think it's respect for the dead.
Well, I assume it's more of a point to that than respect, because, like, why do you close a dead person's eyes?
As a sign of final rest.
Is it because it's creepy to look at a dead person on the eyes?
That too. But I think it's a sign of final rest. Like you're putting them to rest.
Well, I mean, like, there's things about covering the eyes, right? Like putting coins over the eyes so you can give Sharon 2 coins or whatever. But
Yeah.
I assume...
You pay the Pat Sharon's or Karen's.
Yeah, but why put it
passage.
over the eyes, though? It's like, why cover eyes?
Again, because I think eyes open when you're dead like that is creepy. And people
Doorways
get
to the
creeped out.
soul, aren't they? So isn't that
Yeah.
preventing the soul from escaping the body?
Or you're giving it to the soul so
So-
that they can.
No, I'm not talking about the coins anymore. I'm talking about closing the
Yeah.
eyes. Wouldn't that prevent the soul
Yeah.
from escaping the body if you believe that? In the same vein that you say God bless you when someone sneezes because they're letting out evil spirits?
Well, I guess the soul would have already escaped, right?
Then what's the point? So demons can't inhabit your body? Is that
No,
a
I
thing?
think it's a sort of pointing a final rest kind of situation, like rest now, right? Sleep. You're dead. This is your final rest.
I think it's already implied. I don't need to close your eyes.
It's a you know what libations to the dead are, right?
I'm going to guess when you pour alcohol on a dead person.
On the ground,
That
not on
was
the
close.
person. Yeah.
He's allied, by the way, if you remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can get more. Oh, yeah, there's Gilgamesh, right?
君もさぞかし
Yeah.
無念だろう。ええ。理性神父は私にとってもう一人の父というべきお方だった。ここまで予期せぬことばかり起こるとは。至急何か策を講じる必要があるかもしれない。
なぜ時を見に言わなかった？
何のことだ？
哀れな父親だ。息子を聖人と信じて疑わずに言ったのだからな。いや、むしろそれが救いか？父親の死に何の感情も抱かぬ。
I mean, I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
殺されたのだぞ。少しは悲しそうな顔くらい浮かべたらどうだ？
ああ、悔しくてならない。
悔しいか。それは自分の手で殺められなかったからか？
Again, the only thing I know about his backstory is that he had a family and they died.
Mm.
So I guess maybe his dad had something to do with it?
具合はどうですか？どうやら心配させてしまったみたいね。ごめんなさい。いえ、本当に大丈夫であれば、それに越したことはないのですが。しかし。
Is he renewing the mana?
大
Yes.
丈夫。この気配
That's
は
a
マ
weird
イヤさんだ。
cyclical thing, though, because any mana she gets is coming from somebody else, too.
遠坂時臣からの共闘の申し入れです。
同盟ですか？今になって。
残るライダーとバーサーカーの対処に遠坂は不安を持っているんでしょうね。そこで一番組みしやすいと見えた私たちに誘いをかけてきた。要するに他の2組に比べれば舐められて
Based
る
on
って
what?
こと。
遠坂は今夜冬季協会で会計の場を設けたいと言ってきました。遠坂時臣は
I feel like if you base the idea that this is the group more likely to make an alliance, you're basing that on the fact of these people. not the actual master of the group.
マスター、琴峰綺麗を裏で操っていたと思われる節がある。遠坂が琴峰綺麗に対して影響力を及ぼしうるなら、彼の誘いは我々にとっても無視できないかと。
Yeah, because not for nothing, Kirai is a battle-hardened master, apparently.
琴峰綺麗、覚えておいて、セイバー。今回の聖杯戦争でもし規律具を任して聖杯を取る者がいるとしたら、それが琴峰綺麗という男よ。
I wasn't joking, by the way. He beat, what's her name? Servant girl on the right here. The secondary love interest. And Homunculus wife, he beat the crap out of them in the woods.
Oof.
Like, crushing tree branch in his arms and ignoring punches and shit. I think he also had, like, Wolverine claws or something for some reason.
Is that Rin?
Yeah. Who shouldn't be in the area of the fight. They were made to leave.
リン、お父様からお話があるそうよ。
Oh, I think he expects to die.
That's not the mother, right? That's just the caretaker.
That's the mother.
Takes a knife and stabs him.
成人するまでは教会に貸しを作っておけ。
It's the mother.
それ以降の判断はお前に任せる。お前なら一人でもやっていけるだろう。いずれ聖杯は現れる。
Yeah, that's what's sad.
あれを手に入れるのは遠坂家の義務であり。
See, beyond the fact that he sacrificed his
魔
other
術師であろ
daughter
うとするなら
for that other
避けて
thing,
は通れない道だ。
he does love his family. Like you said, he sent them outside of the city to make sure that they didn't fall to the fight.
それでは行くが、
It's in Jewish.
後のことは分かっているな。
Yeah, no, she fucked up with the book before. She was reading shit out of it and accidentally summoned this like hand thing, which I mentioned in a previous note.
Yeah.
Said something that I think Jesus said once, and that was like the implication that that's not fucking Jesus though.
Mhm.
不詳、この遠坂時臣の招待に応じていただき、
Yeah, he's gonna give her.
まずは
He
感謝の
wants
言葉を。
Gilgamesh to have her. He's gonna give her to her so that Gilgamesh
紹
can
介
actually
しよ
fight.
う。
I actually was
That's
gonna
what
think that he was gonna sacrifice his life to give Gilgamesh to
一時
somebody
は互いに
else,
聖杯を狙って競い合った相手であっ
like
たが、
Kirai.
今となっては過ぎた話だ。
I don't know why he would though, because I would
彼
think
は
he's
サーバ
gonna
ントを
fight
失い、
Kirai.
すでにマスター権も手放して久しい。こたびの聖杯戦争もいよいよ大詰めの局面となってきた。残っているのは案の定始まりの御三家のマスターたちと飛び入りの戸様が一人。
So he's deliberately
さて、
sending the message.
この戦局をどうお
One
考え
outsider.
か。
Waver.
別
Waver
段なんと
Velvet
も
is that
我ら
outsider.
は最強のセイバーを滑るがゆえに、姑息に気を伺う必要もなく、ただ当たり前に勝ち進むまでのこと。
なるほど。当方の見解では残念ながら、今回の魔党は戦略を誤った。脆弱なマスターに負荷のかかるサーバントを押し付け、みすみす自滅を早めているありさまだ。おそらく勝ち上がってくるのはライダーだろう。戸様の手に聖杯が渡ることは万に一つも
Rider
許さない。
Dyer, as I call him. I don't call him.
そこのところは、お互い合意できるはずだ。
同盟など少子千万。ただし、敵の対処に順列をつけてほしいというのなら、そちらの誠意次第では一向してもいいでしょう。
つまり、
We're saying
遠坂を
Gilgamesh the
敵対者として
strongest,
み
or
なすの
Saber
は
is the strongest.
他の
they're
マ
saying
スターを
Saber's
倒した
strongest.
後、そういう約定なら応じる用意もあります。
条件付きの休戦協定か。落としどころとしては妥当だな。
こちらの要求は2つ。まず第一に、ライダーとそのマスターについて、そちらが掴んでいる情
Leave my boy
報を
alone.
全て開示すること。
いいだろう。
第2の要求は、琴峰綺麗を聖杯戦争から排除すること。
綺麗よ。
何も殺せとまで言わないわ。それでもこの戦いが終わるまでの間、この冬季から、いえ、日本から退去してもらいます。早速明朝にでも。
理由を説明してもらえるかね。
そこの代行者は我々アインツベルンと少なからず遺恨があります。遠坂の陣営が彼を擁護するのであれば、
Also, he beat the shit out of me that one time.
そちらを信用することはできない。
どういうことかね。綺麗。
Although I think you assume this has something to do with his backstory that we aren't privy to
キ
yet.
リツグからの贈り物は車よりもこの牙に似た乗り物の方が私には性に合っているようです。では私が先行してキロの安全を確認してきます。
Which means they're gonna get attacked.
私たちも行きましょう。
Slightly confused. Is this before the meeting or after the meeting?
どうしました？
I think it's after the
Seems
meeting.
out.
Yeah. Just,
遠坂に不審がられるわ。
surprised he didn't like fill the place with explosives.
これ
Yeah,
は
a bomb or something.
あらかじめ決まってたこと。むしろ今まで人として機能できたことが私にとっては奇跡みたいな幸運だったの。
キリツグも承知の上なのですか？
セイバーには内緒よ。彼女は大事な戦いを控える身。余計な心配はさせたくない。だけどマイヤさん、あなたには話しておきたいわ。
Their daughter better come back at some
私は
point.
聖杯戦争のために設計されたホムンクルス。それはあなたも知っているわね。
はい。
Okay, we knew
ア
that.
ートのおじい様は器そのものに生存本能を与え、あらゆる危険を自己回避して聖杯の完成を成し遂げるために器にアイリスフィールという偽装を施したのよ。それが私。
The Grail?
そんな。ではあなたは。
これから先私は元のものに帰っていくわ。次はきっとこうしてあなたと話をすることもできなくなるでしょう。
That's sad.
だからこそキリツグは
So he always
私
had
に
the
セイ
grail
バーの鞘
within.
を預けたの。アバロン。
I'm assuming the Grail can only be used when it can be used, so it
老
doesn't
衰の
matter.
停滞と無制限の治癒能力。そう聞いています。
その効果が私という殻の崩壊を押しとどめてくれてい
So
る
they
の。
also used to heal themselves after he beat the shit out
セ
of
イバ
them.
ーとの距離が離れてしまうと途端にボロが出るんだけど。
なぜ私には教えたのですか？
ヒサウマイヤ。あなたなら決して私を憐れんだりしない。きっと私を認めてくれる。そう思ったから。
マダム、私はあなたという人をもっと遠い存在だと思っていました。
そんなことない。
I mean, she's the mistress.
はい。
Yeah.
私がこの命に変えてでもアイリスフィール。
Well, I mean, Irisabel's already like signed off on this because he wants him to be happy after she's gone. So
エミはキリツグのために死んでください。あの人の夢を叶えるために。
there's the
Please
whole
die.
well, there's the whole point of the I've been imbued with self-preservation instinct. I anticipated she was going to ask to kill me before I could try and defend
残
myself.
念ながら致し方あるまい。この戦いから身を引いてくれ。キレイ。
I have a thing. Kirai, I think,
don't
is
think
going
he
to
will.
kill him. I think Kirai's going to
Yeah.
kill him because I think he could get to him before. Well, never mind. I anticipate he was going to leap forward and strangle the shit out of him.
エミやキリツグ。貴様は何者だ。
1982 Celtic
それがわからぬ
script.
まま私はここを去るのか。
So he's not.
この後に及んでまだしやんか。鈍重にも程があるぞ。綺麗。
Let me Gilgamesh has like been trying to manipulate this guy the
今の
entire
聖杯は
time.
お前を招いている。そしてお前
Kill
自
my
身も
master and you become.
なお戦い続けることを望んでいる。
物心ついて以来、私はただ一つの探索に生きてきた。ただひたすらに時を費やし、痛みに耐え、そのすべてが徒労に終わった。
Sorry, the perfect line there would have been
なのに
Atlantis.
今私はかつてないほどに問いただしてきた答えを間近に感じている。
そこま
Getting
で
darker.
自制しておきながら、一体何をまだ迷う？
予感がある。すべての答えを知ったとき、私は破滅することになるのだと。わかった。ご苦労。
何かよほど心が浮き立つような知らせでも受けたのか？
アインツベルンの連中が隠れ潜んでいる拠点の調べがついた。
なんだキレイ、お前というやつは。元より続ける覚悟なのではないか。
迷いはしたさ。やめる手もあった。だが結局のところ、英雄をお前の言う通り、私という人間はただ問い続けることに
Did his dad give him all of his? I think his dad gave him all those command seals before he died.
父からの贈り物だ。
Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't have had that many otherwise.
CAN424 ヨハネ福音書。神は御霊なり、故に神を崇める者は魂と真理をもって拝むべし。
I think you find that's only the gospel according to John.
しかしなキレイ、
Yeah.
早速だが由々しき問題があるぞ。お前が自らの意志で聖杯戦争に参ずるならば、いよいよ遠坂時臣は敵であろうが、つまり今お前は何の備えもないままに敵対するサーバントと同室している。
Legit, you're like the least one. You never jump into any fight, Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
命乞いの3段ぐらいはついている。
ほう。
ギルガメッシュ、まだお前が知らぬ聖杯戦争の真実を教えてやろう。
なんだと？
そもそもこの冬季の儀式はな、7体の英霊の魂を束ねて生贄とすることで根源へと至る穴を開けようとする試みだ。
Well, that explains that.
7
The
人
whole
のサーバントを
conversation
全
we
て
had before.
殺し尽くすことで大聖杯を起動させる。7人すべてだ。わか
So
るな。
that the grail is just
我
a
が死
trap.
があれほど霊樹の消費を渋っていた理由
I
が
don't
そ
think
れ
so.
だ。
I think it's
す
just
べての
part
戦
of
い
the
が
path.
終わった後で自らのサーバントを自決させる
Well,
た
I
め
mean,
に
because the
必要だ
path
った
to
か
the
ら
root
だ。
is also to the
時
source
臣が
of true
俺に
magic.
示した忠義は
So what better source
全
of a
て嘘
wish?
偽りだったというのか。
The grail in this case is basically like
我
the
が死は
infinity
骨の
gauntlet.
髄まで魔術師だったというだけ
The
のこ
five
とだ。
different true magic types and everything.
英霊は崇拝してもその偶像には幻想など抱かない。
時を見め、最後にようやく見どころを示したな。あの退屈な男もこれでやっと俺を楽しませることができそうだ。
さてどうする英雄王。それでもなおお前は我が死に忠義立てしてこの私の本意を咎めるか。
さあどうしたものかな。いかに不忠者とはいえ時臣は今なお俺に魔力を貢いでいる。完全にマスターを見限ったのでは限界に支障をきたすしな。ああ、そういえば一人霊樹を得た者の相方がおらず契約からはぐれたサーバントを求めているマスタ
Is
ー
that how
が
I
いたは
wanted
ずだった
Tokumi to go out?
そういえばそうだった。だが果たしてその男マスターとして英雄王のメガネにかなうのかどうか。
問題あるまい。堅物すぎるのが玉に傷だが前途はそれなりに有望だ。ゆくゆくは存分に俺を楽しませてく
Also,
れ
what's
る
the
かもし
benefit
れん。
really other than the fact you know you're going to be sacrificed at the end? You're still going to get sacrificed at the end.
待っていたよキレイ。冬季を退去する前
Tokumi at least
一言ご挨拶に
is
上が
willing
り
to do what you say because he said, I'm going to be your servant, Gilgamesh.
私は君という弟子を得たことを今でも誇りに思っている。どうか今後とも亡きお父上のように君もまた遠坂との縁故を保っていってほしいと思うのだがどうだろう。
I'll say this much. I'm not going to forgive this
今回
betrayal.
の聖杯戦争が終わった後もキレイ、君には兄弟子として凛の指導に当たってほしいのだ。まあ簡略ではあるが遺言状のようなものだ。万が一ということも考えておくべきだと思ってね。凛に遠坂の家督を譲る旨の署名と成人するまでの後見人として
Oh,
If
boy.
we end up watching Fate Stay Night and it's this guy in charge of
ご
Rin
息女については
Mhm.
and he ends up killing this dude, fuck this guy.
いただきます。 ありがとう。キレイ。これは君個人に対して私からの
The weapon you're gonna use to kill me.
開けてみたまえ。
Yeah, it's different though if he's like helping him out here.
There you go.
I got it from my third raid in World of
見
Warcraft.
習いの過程を終えたことを証明する品だ。
至らぬ好みに重ね重ねのご厚情、感謝の言葉もあります。我が師よ。
君にこそ感謝だ、琴峰キレイ。これで私は最後の戦いに臨むことができる。もうこんな時間か。
It's about time that I turned my back on you after I've given you a dagger.
Yeah.
飛行機の時間に間に合うといいのだが。
いい
Oh,
え、
good. It's backstab o'clock.
Yeah.
心配無用です。我が師よ。
This is why I have to think that Caneth was a better
もとより
mage.
飛行機の予約などしておりませんので。
He's surprised. You literally gave him a dagger.
Yeah, but he's like such a friend of the family. Literally an et tu Brute moment.
Yeah.
師よ。
Well, without the
あ
et
なた
tu
も我
part.
が父と同じ。最後の最後まで私という人間を理解できな
Turns out my name is actually Ryunosuke. I was the kid child murderer.
興ざめな幕切れだ。見よ、この間抜けた死に顔を。
Ah, don't make fun of the guy. You
す
already
ぐ
killed
そ
him.
ばに霊体化したサーバントをはべらせていたのだ。油断したのも無理はあるまい。
早くも開脚を身につけたか。その進歩ぶりは褒めておこう。どうだキレイ。父親を殺められなかった悔しさが少しは晴れたか。
本当に依存はないのだな。英雄をギルガメッシュ。
Can't anymore.
お
Your
前
mana
が
source
俺
is
を飽
gone.
きさせぬ限りにおいてはな。さもなくばキレイ。覚悟を問われるべきはむしろお前だぞ。
汝の身は我が元に、我が運命は汝の剣に。聖杯の夜べに従い、この意、この断りに従うのなら。
誓おう。汝の供物を我が血肉となす。琴峰キレイ。新たなるマスターよ。
Well, don't like these two. Not that I liked them very much to begin
始める
with.
としようか。お前の采配で見事。
Kirai was like a meh character to me to begin with. Now he's like an asshole.
褒美に聖杯を賜そう。
依存はない。英雄を、お前もせいぜい楽しむことだ。望む答えを得るその時まで、この身は道家に甘んじるとも。
The Schlemiel. Well, I guess actually the Schlemiel is more of a heroic role. A heroic fool.
Yeah.
Well, glad I didn't decide with those two.
Well, the Grail is back to being the Grail.
Well, not yet. She's not dead.
Oh.
I think the whole conversation was when the time comes sort of thing.
Yeah.
I get more towards the element of that she has a built-in self-defense mechanism, or no, not self-preservation.
Yeah.
Did you watch The Good Place?
Bits of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
the
I know what the Good Place. Well,
no, I was gonna say the girl,
They're not the good-
the
yeah.
girl that does all the when you ask for something, she appears and makes it happen. There's
The
the
angel,
button. Not really, but anyway, not gonna correct you because you didn't see it. There's a button that kills her, but she always says, "I have a built-in self-preservation instinct to beg for my life. Just keep in mind, it's fake. I don't have any feelings whatsoever." But the closer you get to the button, so every time somebody goes up near the button, she'll like pull out pictures of a family and beg for her life and how
yeah, they're
everything
on a
matters.
beach, I think somewhere.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
So just the same idea occurs to me. I have a self-preservation instinct. Just keep in mind, I want you to kill me. I have no feelings about this whatsoever.
どんな大人になりたいの？
あの屋敷に行くのはや
Of
めな
his
さい。
family?
なんだこれ。 後のことは自分で考えな。
お前にはまだ早すぎる。
いつか君が手に入れるのは世界を変える力だよ。
Yeah, has to be his family. I don't know who else would call him Carrie, or anybody else in the show who would be called Carrie, other than the guy.
Yeah, but I
Kirai.
do know, and spoilers for The Good Place, I know that the whole thing is that they're stuck in, spoilers, in purgatory.
No, you're also wrong. Well,
They
no,
are.
you're wrong. You're wrong. You're still wrong.
Because at the end they go to heaven, final heaven.
Well, you're talking about season 3, but there's only one person stuck in purgatory, and during part of the show, 3 of the people joined them, but the show isn't in purgatory. So no one's really stuck there. And like the person stuck in purgatory isn't a main character. It's somebody they go to visit once. Or 3 or 4 times. So you've got that part wrong too. But the main part of the show is season 3 and about what happens after they go to heaven, which is the really, really interesting part. But yeah, you've got the what the first part of the show is about wrong. So I mean, I would suggest watching it. It's a really good show. Me and Griffin both enjoyed it. We've talked about it before, but obviously not watched it here on the channel or anything.
No. So yeah, that was something. I mean, it was kind of predictable. The moment he went to talk to Ren, it was like he's gonna die. It's just that he didn't die in battle. He just died. He literally gave his murderer all the tools and reasons to kill him, right?
But you give him any reasons.
Well, the reason was that he's not going to participate anymore in the Grail War.
So,
and therefore he didn't know
from
that
the very beginning he said that he had no motivation to be in the Grail War. He was helping him with no plans to win the Grail War to begin with.
But apparently he was lying all the time.
No, he wasn't lying. He changed his mind, is the thing. That's why he had no compunction about sacrificing his own servant, assassin. Because, again, he had no plans to win the Grail War. That's what his dad was there for, too. All 3 of them were there to help Tokamine win the Grail War. Because the church was backing him. His own son had no plans. That's all the conversations he's had with Gilgamesh up until now. It was like, I have no desires. I have no need for the Grail War. I'm basically out. So this is the entire turnaround on that.
So why I guess he actually wants to go to the root then.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why we're having a flashback, apparently, next episode. Because at the very first episode, I believe it was mentioned that his family had died recently, and that was like itself, not a flashback, but the very first episode starts like 10 years ago, and then 8 years ago, and then blah, blah, blah. So back then, his family had recently died. So I kind of assume that maybe that's what's going on here.
Yeah. That he's going back again to explain why he would want to go to the root in the first place.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know if he even wants to go to the root. I mean, I don't know what his motivation is. I assumed before that he was going to want to get that the Grail determined him worthy because he had a desire, even though he says he has no desire. And I would assume that his desire would be to get his family back. But that was the person that I thought he was, not the guy who grins like Ryunosuke did when he was killing children.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe he killed his family. Maybe that's why the "my dad didn't know me" thing. So, I mean, that's what I expect from him. That it's going to be some sort of flip. Like, the guy that we've seen this whole time isn't actually... Might not even be wearing a cross. Might as well not be wearing a cross, right?
I mean, in Gilgamesh comes out like, you're not a holy man, right? You're not a man of God, so...
Well, it could be the whole Castor thing, right? Castor was so devout that he became evil in order to get God to prove that he existed by smiting him. And when it didn't happen, that's when he became so despondent that, oh my God, I have proven God to be untrue despite my my faith. And it could be that Kirai has been the inversion of that. He had no faith but faked it and in fact is the hedonistic priest that Castor said that he was surrounded by, people that just wanted.
Yeah. But he lied to himself and to his father?
Well, no, I don't think he lied to himself. I think he was lying to everybody else. Outer facade now being dropped, I guess. I don't know. Just a guess. I have no real insight into the character. He is not really shown himself to be that much.
Yeah, he's a cipher.
That's what I said. I see him as a meh character, and now I just don't like him. Especially because now there's the idea that if he comes out of this alive, we're going to see him in like Fate Stay Night. It was like the mentor or guardian to Rin. It was like, that asshole killed your dad. Fuck that guy. I don't want to see him around anymore, especially not around Rin.
Well, somebody has to teach her anyway.
So, Mom.
There you have it. Betrayals, literal backstabbings. Because you're not supposed to give the knife to the guy who's going to kill you and turn your back to him.
Again, he taught this guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, taught Kirai. This is a gift to his student for graduation.
Yeah, but it's never a good idea to hand somebody a knife and go like, oh, by the way, I'm going to go and I'm going to give you back to you. It's like, oh, yeah, go. You know, at least have him go forward before you.
I don't know. That seems like if he was on the fence about it, it's like, oh, you're saying you don't trust me. Well, now I'm no longer on the fence about it. If you don't trust me, then I can't trust you.
Yeah, handing somebody a weapon and then going like, oh yeah, I'm going to conveniently turn my back to you. It's never a good idea.
Because he trusts him.
Well, and where did his trust land in him?
He trusted him He trusted him so
down
much.
On the floor in his own blood.
He trusted him so much, he wrote a will saying, hey, take care of my daughter for me. I don't think at that point handing him a weapon is like...
Either way, he's toast. Actually, he's a bloody pulp.
I was going to make a joke. I couldn't think of the name of the thing. It's per my want to never know the name of the thing I'm trying to think of. But for those of you in the audience who want to figure it out for me, name of the sandwich that you put a little toothpick through. You say finger sandwiches, but there's a real name for it. Water or something sandwiches I can't think of.
Probably has a ton of names.
Yeah, well, there's probably a lot of sandwiches you put those through, but I think you also put an olive on them. I think.
No, I'm not a sandwich maker.
Are you not? Have you never made a sandwich in a day in your life?
Yeah, but I don't know the types.
Well, so you're saying you've made sandwiches.
Yeah, what I mean, I'm not a professional.
What are you saying? You're not like an Arthur Dent? You didn't move to a different world and start making sandwiches for a society that doesn't make sandwiches for themselves? That the concept of sandwiches is brand new? Are you not that kind of sandwich maker? Or are you saying that you are just a sandwich maker on the side who makes sandwiches for yourself? Not professionally, mind you. Just someone who enjoys sandwiches recreationally.
You know, your ability to take something and just run with it. It's outstanding.
It's called improvisation. That's not actually called that at all. That's somewhat weird mispronunciation of a word because I can't say things.
I mean, to catch up with you, it's impossible because it's like, wow.
I appreciate when you look off in the distance and your blurry background really makes it seem like there's a way out there.
Yeah, well.
All right. Anyway, any final thoughts?
Nope.
All right, well, once again, I have been Theta, this has been Lessons, we've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?